Hello and welcome to episode 6 of the BashTalk podcast. I'm pleased to welcome a special guest today, professional fighter Shoaib Yousaf from our hometown of Nelson, and a good close associate and a friend of ours called Wakas Yakub, who's also here to chip in as part of the discussion as well. So just to get straight in there, Shoaib is a very experienced fighter. He's come from our local town and he's worked his way up through the rankings, so he's basically just gone the normal route, training from a young age, gone through, worked his way up from amateur all the way to professional. And rather than just being known as Shoaib Yousaf, he's got a moniker. So it's Shoaib the Assassin Yousaf. So that's just to begin with. I'm going to ask, Shoaib, where did you get the name Assassin from?
Assassin came from, so I used to train Muscle Factory, well still train on Muscle Factory, and they used to call me Silent Assassin because I didn't used to talk much.
Right.
So I think for my amateur fights they used to say Silent Assassin, but from there I just went to Assassin. I think Silent was too long.
Okay, no, that's fine because it's a catchy name, because then the people that support you, they've got become known as the Assassin's Army, and it's kind of like, it's catchy.
Yeah, so it worked out well.
Yeah. So in terms of your training history, you've been training from a very, very young age, haven't you?
Yeah.
What? How about 7, 8?
I started training when I was 7.
Yeah.
So I started jiu-jitsu when I was 7.
And what about kickboxing? In fact, you know what? I actually remember. Do you remember Dave's kickboxing place?
Hakuda.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's,
were you there?
yeah, it must have been about 10 or something years ago, I'm
must
sure.
have been young, very young.
You used to train with your brothers there as well, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been a long time.
Long time.
So you started jiu-jitsu first. When did you start the striking? Because it was a couple of years afterwards, wasn't it?
So I used to, obviously, my dad used to always like hold pads for me, and so my uncle was, he used to do jiu-jitsu, so I started jiu-jitsu. Just my dad put me in to look after myself and keep busy.
Yep.
And then I always used to be watching UFC.
Okay.
From a young age, and from there, I think I was about 12, 13 when I started Thai boxing. So I used to just do both of them. And obviously from Thai boxing and jiu-jitsu, it just went into MMA.
Right. So in terms of you stylistically, would you say that your base is more leaning towards the striking or the grappling?
Do you know, I'd have to say grappling because I've been doing it much longer. But
Right.
a lot of people say you're like more of a striker.
Yeah, I was going to say, because looking at your fights, they tend to
So
have a lot of
I
exchanges.
think all the fights start standing, so...
Yeah. Okay. So you went jiu-jitsu, you did the kickboxing. So this then leads into the kind of the path that you took and how you managed to get basically coaches from different parts of the UK, because you don't just train over at the Muscle Factory. You've got a coach in Sheffield.
Yeah. So I've been training with Imran Khan. He's a 2-time world Thai boxing champion in Sheffield, and they've got a Dagestani brother Zakir.
Yeah.
So I started training. He's obviously a wrestler.
How did you meet him though? Like, how did that connection even come about? Because
So,
Sheffield's a long way from here.
One of my uncles knew someone that knows Imran Khan from Sheffield.
Right.
So from there, just...
So you basically, how many times a week are you going to Sheffield?
Before
all this heading?
Yeah. Before all this, about twice a week. If I go fight, 3 times a week.
Wow. Up and down there.
Up and down. Yeah.
Motorway.
It's hard, boys. It's got to be done.
So right. So then, if you wind it back a little bit, then, so before you got the Sheffield connections, when did the entry in terms of like building up into becoming an amateur, like where did that part of the journey start?
So I think I was like 16, 17 when I just really wanted to get into MMA.
Right.
And there used to be 2 brothers, Mick and Rob Sinclair.
Yep.
And so I just they used to sometimes come to our jiu-jitsu clubs, and from there they said, look, why didn't I come and try MMA?
Okay.
And I've always been into UFC and all that, so I was like 16, 17 when I started there, and it just from there it started.
So basically you kind of chained up the jiu-jitsu that you already
Yeah,
had.
so I did everything separate: jiu-jitsu, wrestling, Thai boxing, then MMA, which I'm glad I did that.
Okay, so I'm guessing that you did the normal route. Well, I'm assuming you did that. So you basically you would have had some interclub type of stuff to start you off with.
Yeah.
And then from interclub you went and had your first amateur fight.
Yeah, so I've been competing in jiu-jitsu since I was a kid, 7.
Right.
Like, it used to be regular. So I've had a lot of jiu-jitsu competition. Then, obviously, Thai boxing, same thing. They do, like, interclubs.
Yeah.
So it's like meant to be, you go to a gym and you spar. But it's like a fight.
It's just it's always a fight.
Yeah.
It's always a fight. No one's taking it easy.
Yeah. Then I had a few Thai boxing fights. And then just from there, I just wanted to do MMA.
What was your first amateur fight?
MMA one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was when I was 17, 18. That was in better head kick one.
That was alright.
Yeah, alhamdulillah.
Head kick. Oh,
You recall the one where his first amateur fight,
Yeah.
where he knocked somebody out with a head kick.
yes. Actually, that is ringing a bell. Yeah, because
Yeah,
it
that
was
was my
a
first
YouTube
amateur.
highlight reel. It was
Yeah.
clips going around as well. Yeah, you're doing well on that.
No, I think he's done really well on that. You know, he's a humble guy, you won't say, but the guy who was fighting was, I think, a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu brown belt, a lot more experienced than him. And for him to go in there in his first fight and show the composure that he did, and the event leading up to that head kick, because if you watch it, he faked the guy twice with a low kick and then knocked him out with the third time, went upstairs and knocked him out with a head kick. To show that kind of composure in your first fight, it just kind of gives you an insight of the potential that he has.
Yeah, no, that sounds like you had a good game plan, but it does take guts, especially if it's your first amateur fight and the guy is a jiu-jitsu guy to even throw a kick.
Because I've always been competing.
Yeah.
So since I was younger, I felt alright. I thought, yeah, it's okay. Like whatever happens, happens.
Okay, so then that was your first step into the amateur game. Now, you did win the IMMAF World Championships in 2016.
Yeah.
So they would have like somehow got in touch with you and scouted you, but what was the path that led to getting there?
So basically, it was my 4th amateur fight.
Right.
I got a manager. One manager came up to me. We'd like to sign you. Carl, who I'm still with, heavy duty.
HD. Yes.
HD, and he went, look, they got some trials for the IMMAF in America. You, like, go down, so there's like a lot of people, like my weight, like 20, 25 people
Okay.
each weight. So they just, you go hip hard, spar, grapple, and they choose whoever they want. And alhamdulillah, I was the one that was chosen.
So that was 4 fights into your amateur career.
No, that was, I had this, 4 or 5.
4 or 5. Yeah. So then you went in. We were the Las Vegas, wasn't it? The tournament.
Yeah.
So, just for context, this is it's basically a very high level tournament for.
Yeah.
In fact, it's the highest level tournament for amateur fighters, isn't it?
Yeah.
And there's a representative selected for each weight class for representative nations throughout the world, isn't there?
Yeah.
How many bouts did you have to?
So I had
tournament format, wasn't it?
Yeah, so I had 4 fights in 5 days.
Wow.
And it was in Rosé as well.
Yeah,
so
I was literally going to say it was around Ramadan time.
Yeah,
wasn't
so
it?
I was training like whilst I was fasting and all that. Obviously, when I went fasting. I just made them up. But
Yeah, because obviously, just for context, if you're traveling, you're classed as a traveler, you don't have to fast. Because I remember seeing a newspaper clipping and it was saying that when you were actually here training, you were like having to train and like. And that was a peak. That was a peak fasting as well, like the really, really long ones.
I remember he was training after fasting, because at that time, if you remember, we were reading Tarawih on the top mosque on Temple Street.
Yeah.
And then he used to say, I'm going to go home and go and train now. Or sometimes he train and things.
But yeah, we used to train twice. Alhamdulillah, everyone at Muscle Factory helped me out a lot. So we used to train there about 6 p.m.
Right.
Then after that, we used to go after Tarawih, read Tarawih, and then train again.
Wow.
But it kept my weight low, so it was good.
Yeah, no, I can imagine. So, the amateur that was featherweight as well, wasn't it?
Featherweight, yeah.
And are you still featherweight now?
Still featherweight, yeah.
Wow. Yeah, respect to you for being able to keep your weight, man. So you've gone IMMAF 2016. Did you do any more amateur fights straight after, or did you?
No, went straight pro.
Straight pro. That was basically you just kind of sealing it and saying, right, I think I'm ready for pro now.
Yeah.
So, in terms of the pro fight that you had, I'm guessing you just had a chat with your manager and said, look, I'm ready, scales an opponent, and just start. Obviously, you're not going to jump straight into the heavy end, but
yeah.
Who was your first opponent for pro?
This guy was like Irish. He fought some good guys like James Gallagher. All these fighters, they fight on Bellator now.
Okay.
So it was a good test, good like first fight.
Where was that one? Was
in Glasgow,
Scotland? Yes,
Scotland.
yeah. So you went all the way up, and then how did that fight go?
Alhamdulillah, I won Amba first round.
That's good. You did your homework then. I'm guessing you watched plenty of tape then.
Yeah.
Alright, so first pro fight went really well for you. And then you've gone into your career a bit more. You've had a few more fights. And then at some point you did come up, I think it was an ACB fight against that Jordan guy.
Yeah.
That didn't obviously go
didn't go
the way you
well,
wanted
yeah.
to. But I'm just going to have to push you on this one. But I just want to know, like, what did you learn from it?
Do you know, people say I've lost many times since I was a kid, like obviously going jiu-jitsu, Thai boxing. So I always train hard, it doesn't matter. But I went to camp in Thailand and there's some stuff that didn't go really good. So from there, the biggest thing I learned was that if I'm not prepared, don't fight.
Right.
But I just thought, just go get in there and fight, which sometimes isn't the best thing to do.
Yeah. So basically after that, you become a little bit more aware of, what state you're in. The situation around you and whether you're actually in a position where you can say, yeah, I'll fight. Because
I think before that fight also, he's not going to mention it. He had a long flight back, from Thailand, etc. He's not, obviously, he's not going to mention it. And then even from there, I'd say that was a blessing for him more than that. Because I remember straight after the fight, he had a chat with me and he goes to me, one thing I need to up now is my strength and conditioning. He'd come all this way, won an amateur world championship without even doing specific strength and conditioning, won pro fights. And since then, it's been a blessing. You've just seen how he's carried on, how he's developed his game. And I'd say that was a blessing for him in disguise.
Yeah, so because then you started that strength and conditioning after that fight, didn't you?
Yeah, after that fight. So I used to just do it, but just like myself, just a bit of weights. And
I think it's one of those things where I think fighters maybe sometimes don't understand just how important it is, because when even when you're talking about strength and conditioning, obviously you've got a coach now, so you know what he's putting you through. But the mistake people make, and I speak from my own experience, is they think it's just a case of you just got to go beast yourself, beat the crap out of yourself, and then get ready to do another day.
Yeah.
That's not strength and conditioning.
No.
You've got different energy systems in your body. You've got to train them in a different way, and you basically you have to train just enough, so then you can go back and train again, and you're not affecting your own training skills.
100%. Yeah.
So I'm guessing, in fact, I saw the fight that you had, the one straight after that, and then how did you feel?
Oh, I felt good because that was another tough. It was like a Turkish guy that was coming up.
Yeah.
But alhamdulillah, I felt good, and I just with that fight I wanted to go 3 rounds, because the thing in the Jordan fight was I was just finished after the first round. I was just tired, so I thought, just mentally, I thought I want to get 3 rounds in.
Yeah.
So alhamdulillah, I won that decision.
But then, did you feel? I mean, obviously, I don't want to put the words in your mouth, but in terms of how you felt about your performance, did you feel a lot more explosive and kind of transferring power a little bit better?
Yeah, I felt a lot better, but I think mentally as well, you just think, oh, I've done some strength and conditioning, so it's in the back of your head that I'm feeling better,
So I could go, as you know, if he goes, I could go and just keep pushing. Okay. So, I'm gonna go back a little bit in time now, even though we've kind of stepped a few fights forward. Because the majority of the time that you were doing your fights, you would fight in the UK, except for the IMMAF stuff.
Yeah.
And then you got the contract with ACB.
Yeah.
They're still around, but I think they've had a few.
They've gone to ACA now. It's called.
Yeah, they had a few restructures.
Yeah.
But that fight, the first one that you had for them, or one of the fights that you had for them, you ended up in Dubai somewhere, didn't you?
Yeah, Dubai was.
How was that?
It's normal. It's just like another fight. You just, because everyone, it's not like we're going for a holiday.
Yeah.
So we landed there, you have to cut weight, and it's just fight. So in a way, it's better because you're away from all the distractions here. Away from home, so you just do your thing and fight.
Yeah, because you still had a good entourage with you as well, didn't you?
Oh yeah, they always. Wakas with me.
Alhamdulillah, he's always got good support with him as well.
Alhamdulillah.
He had his coaches there. Obviously, Abdul Rahman's always with him. He had him there, and his cousins Moeen, Azhar, and a few of the other good lads were there as well.
Kaka as well.
Yeah, not forgetting Kaka. Kaka was there as well. And again, like he said, he was just so disciplined when he got there, and he was disciplined all the way throughout. His weight, his running, he knew he wasn't there to mess about. He was there for business.
It's very easy to get carried away, especially with the sun's out and everything. It's like, let's go on the beach and do some pad work, get the shades on. But again, that fight went quite well for you. In fact, it was that same one. So then, in terms of where you're at now, so ACB had a couple of restructures, and it did mean that there was like a lot of delays for them to like start arranging fights, and effectively that for you is a case of this is your full-time thing now.
Yeah.
So you had to basically just find a different contract, didn't you?
Yeah, so basically I was in Thailand. I meant to be fighting ACB London. Obviously that didn't happen. I think 3 weeks before I got a message saying, "Oh, the full event's off."
Yeah.
But I was still in contract with them, so I think it took like a few months. It set me back a bit just to like get out of contract. So I said to my manager once I got that kind of contract, I just want to fight regular. I don't mind even if it's local.
At that point, you didn't want to just get tied into another one. Just keep active.
Yeah, so I had, alhamdulillah, I think I had 2 more fights after that. 3 more fights after that.
Right.
They were all, but I still had some pullouts and so it's just a bit of setbacks.
All right. So then, because there was a one-off fight that you had in was it Celtic Gladiators?
Yeah, Celtic Gladiators. Yeah.
So there was that one. So you didn't like sign to the promotion, but you obviously went and fought.
Yeah.
And you smashed. He was a Brazilian guy, wasn't he?
Yeah, Brazilian.
Yeah. He made it out as though he got kicked in the thingies, but he hadn't. Well, let's not even get into that. But anyway, so there was that one. Then you had another one after that.
Then I had one in the UKFC Preston. They offered me a title shot.
Yes. Yeah. And then, that was at Guildhall. That's a good venue, man. It's a shame they haven't got it anymore.
Yeah, Guildhall, that was the one.
Now they've got that, I think it was like a banqueting hall or something.
I think it's a P or something it's called in Preston. But yeah, Guildhall was a good venue.
That was it, because all the seats are kind of like laid out, the octagons and everything. It's a nice venue. So, after you've, so you become the UKFC champion, and then at what point does Brave come into the picture? Was it just a phone call one day like, yo, these guys want to talk to you?
Yeah, so my manager sorts all that out, but before that I was after ACB there's other organisations they just wanted to sign me, but I said to my manager I just need to get a bit busier first. So give me 2-3 fights. So then after the UKFC I fought in Sheffield arena, the Cage Steel.
Yes. Yeah.
And I had that fight. Then they offered me a title fight after that, and I think 2 weeks before the guy pulled out. And then that same time Brave messaged my manager, went, "Oh, there's an event in Saudi Arabia. Does he want to fight on that in 4 weeks?"
4 weeks.
Yeah. So
because you were in camp as well, weren't you?
Yeah. So I was in camp like six weeks, and obviously because I went Thailand, then I did another solid camp here.
Right.
Then when he pulled out, I was just thought, have a week off. So I was just eating everything, and then he rang me saying, "Oh,
you get the phone call.
In 4 weeks."
Right. So, how early did you get to Saudi? Because you guys were there a bit early, man.
So I normally go about 4 or 5 days before.
Right.
About 5 days before.
What was the weight cut like? Well, it's hot there anyway, but
yeah, weight cut's always it's not easy. It's always hard, but get used to it.
What do you walk around at?
I walk around at the moment because it's obviously Ramadan and all that. I'm about 74. So I don't cut too much weight. I like to get to like 72 a week before and then get to 66.
So generally you do stay quite trim.
Yeah. I don't like going too high.
Yeah, no, you see some fighters, they're just like...
Yeah. You look at them, you think, I don't know how you're going to make featherweight or lightweight. It's massive.
You get like guys like Gleason Tebow.
Yeah.
Oh man, that guy's a monster.
For 70 kilo.
Don't know how he does it.
That's a question mark over Habib, that guy, isn't it? Tebow.
You know what? That fight gets brought up a lot, doesn't it? When people are poking Habib and say, look, he didn't win it, but...
Watch that back again, I think Habib won that.
He won. Yeah. He had control.
Yeah, Habib.
Because if you look at it, like even throughout the fight, he's the one that's pressing. Yeah. Like regardless of whether he's getting a takedown or not, he's the one that's like, guys.
Exactly. It's just because he didn't get the takedowns automatically. Just because Habib didn't get the takedown, that means he lost. But I don't think that's the case.
Yeah,
what do you think, Shoaib? Your analysis?
Yeah, I think same. I think Habib won.
Yeah,
Habib won.
I think people tend to sometimes they'll go back and look at it with a different set of glasses on and be like, oh, this is it's irrelevant. He's beaten, as far as we're concerned. But swinging the discussion back to you then, we're talking about Habib, but in terms of you, the way you fight, because we know obviously you've been striking and doing jiu-jitsu since a young age, and Zagir does your wrestling as well, doesn't
Yeah.
he? In terms of, stylistically, like you're saying, you got more of a grappling base. But is there anybody in particular that you look up to, or maybe copy is not the right word, but maybe you think, stylistically, I like the way this guy fights, and I want to try and fight like him, or do you just do your own thing?
I try to do my own thing, but like you have to be good everywhere. But the one person that comes to my GSP,
Yeah,
striking, wrestling, everything.
that jab is beautiful.
Yeah, he can do everything. There's a lot that I can do, but he's good everywhere.
Right, yeah, it's fair enough.
He was like ahead of his time. I think
Ahead
even
of his
back,
time, yeah.
if you think from back in the days, from when he was well rounded, GSP and Faraz, I think them two just together, they were way ahead of his time.
You know the funny thing about GSP, you're right, 100% way ahead of his time, because I remember there was some stuff that he used to do, maybe like right early in his career, that I used to look at and think, what's this guy doing? And it's like he had had a full on gymnastics coach. He used to do sprinting, and then he used to do the so he'd be in a swimming pool doing like weighted exercises in the swimming pool and stuff. I was thinking, what the hell, like what's this guy doing? And obviously then once I started doing wrestling, I realized actually you really, really, really need the gymnastic element.
Yeah.
And then even the weights in the swimming pool and stuff, like guys like Kamaru Usman, welterweight champion, that's all he does. He doesn't do any running. His knees are completely shattered.
Yeah.
And his gas tank's amazing.
Yeah. There's a lot of fighters that don't do strength and conditioning, especially boxing, but even in MMA. There's a lot that don't do any strength and conditioning.
You know what? You do get some genetic freaks though.
Yeah.
Well, Romero.
Romero, yeah.
What an
But that's a wrestling all you laugh.
Yeah. Because I remember I was listening to Joe Rogan's podcast. Shout out Joe Rogan.
Bash Rogan.
And he was saying that at one point there was a surgeon that had to do an operation on Yuval Romero's eye, and he was saying that his cartilage that was around his eye was 3 times thicker than any other humans that he'd ever seen. So obviously Joe Rogan's looking at it thinking there's only 2 ways you can look at it. Either the guy's just a genetic freak, or the Cubans have been doing some next experiments. I can't go down that road, but yeah. So one thing that because I've got a few things that I want to cover off with you as well. Because one thing I've noticed is obviously everyone has like a style of fighting, but I noticed you tend to be very direct. Like I don't see you throwing looping punches. You tend to be very almost. I mean, I don't know if you've done karate, but it's almost kind of just a straight strike. Because I don't know, every time I see fighters doing looping punches, it's like they're either wrestling with overhand right trying to set something up, or it doesn't look that elegant sometimes.
I think I'm quite long for my weight as well, so I try to use it.
Yeah.
5'11". A lot of people are shorter for featherweight.
So you can just keep them off.
Yeah, so everyone's got their own style. Like Habib loops his punches, obviously. Again, like I said, looking for takedowns. Everyone's got their own styles. So
and then you tend to just come direct, don't you?
Yeah. That's just my style.
Yeah, that's fine. And in terms of like do you prefer to be more attacking or a little bit more on the counter?
It depends who you're fighting.
So game plan.
Yeah, so it depends who you're fighting.
All right, and then in terms of your accomplishments outside of obviously MMA, in terms of you mentioned you've done a lot of BJJ tournaments.
Yeah.
What's the biggest tournament you've done? I say biggest is relative, but the one that meant the most to you that you felt like you accomplished something from.
Do you know when I was younger, I used to always do like my weight category and then go up a weight and like win that. So that was like I always used to feel good, yeah. So were you mainly doing gi or no gi? Gi at that time, gi. Yeah.
But
then as soon as I started doing MMA,
then no gi.
Like with the Lucy or no gi, all no gi.
Yeah.
But now I can't. If I put the gi on, I struggle.
Well, yeah.
It's been years since I've done gi.
I think, and then just for the people that aren't familiar with it, what's the reason that you tend to do no gi now?
No gi is more specific for MMA, obviously. Gi you can start gripping lapels and choking, but in MMA,
you don't want to get that muscle pattern. You're trying to grab something that's not there.
Yeah. So it's more realistic for MMA.
Okay, so how did the Tiger Muay Thai connection come about? When did you first decide to get some Thailand passport stamps?
First time we went was, I think it was before or after my ACB fight.
Okay.
So we just went to me and Abe, and then we got like with a lot of the coaches. We started getting to know them, a lot of the fighters.
All right. So you basically, so it wasn't something done through management. It was
Yeah.
just a
So
case
my
of-
manager first, obviously, I said
Okay.
to him, look, I want to go Tiger, and he sorted it out. Like he messaged them and all that. So we just went one day, and from that time we think we've been like before every fight six times I've been. No.
Right. So you've come across some really experienced fighters there.
Yeah.
So like, I'm pretty sure I've seen a picture of you and Zabit.
Yeah.
What's he like to train with?
So, but I got a picture of him, but I didn't. He used to train himself. He had a few injuries as well.
Right.
So he used to do a bit of pad work and a bit of wrestling, but never like no sparring and all that. But we all used to be in the hotel opposite the gym after the Tiger.
Right.
So we used to see him like 10 times a day.
So I mean, so you must have built a good friendship with a lot of these guys as
Yeah,
well.
yeah. So we still got good friendship, a lot of connections with them.
So what about the Dagestanis? Did you get any time with them as well?
Yeah, a lot of time.
What did you find them guys to be like? More like really, I don't know, like really good grapplers, maybe striking out sharp, or
No, do you know people think they're just good wrestlers, but there's a lot of them that have got very good striking. Look at Zabit, for example, very good, but it's just their mentality. Do you know, whenever they train, it's 100%.
military.
They'll train. They might be injured, but they'll still train. It's just their mentalities. They got a very good mentality.
Good work ethic.
Good
for
work
training.
ethic. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, because there's a few pictures and you guys look like you
Yeah.
knocked
The-
the
so
bells
the-
out of each other. But
Yeah, the last time we went, there's all the Zubaira Tahugov was there, Merbek Tasumov, they're all fighting on ACB Dubai.
Right.
So there's everyone was there, so it was good.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm guessing you probably you must have picked up a lot from them though.
Yeah, of course. You can always learn from anyone. It doesn't have to be UFC fighters. It can be anyone. You can always learn something.
So you mentioned you go 2 or 3 times a week to Sheffield.
Yeah.
Again, I'm asking this question in the context of pre-corona. How often did you used to see Lucio?
Lucio used to go about twice a week. 100% used to go twice a week. But then, like, if I'm free, I'd text him. Like, Lucio, can I come down? He used to say, yeah.
Yeah, because he's on the road in Manchester.
Yeah, he's in Manchester. So,
That's all right.
Lucio used to be regular as well.
And then, because did you get to know him because he used to be in Bradfield or?
Yeah, so I knew him from Bryfield. Used to come and do seminars and all that. So, been training with Lucio a long time now.
He's a high level guy, isn't he?
Yeah, next level.
Yeah, I'm sure he can teach you something new every time.
Oh yeah, every time you go, it's probably what have you trained with?
Yeah, I've trained with
Probably
Lucio
one
as
of the
well.
best teachers I've ever met.
Yeah, very, very good coach. The thing with him is he's got such a way that he can bring his grappling level to when he's sparring with you. So just say you're having a private lesson with him, he can bring it down to the level where it's just at your level, just above yours, and he gives you that realistic feel when he's sparring. And he's really good. He's very explosive, and I think it'll be very beneficial for MMA. The way he trains, because it's very explosive, his style of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah, nice. Because he's still competing now, isn't he? in some
Yeah,
of the-
still he's winning gold wherever he goes, all around the world.
strong guy as well. You can see it.
Yeah.
So, in terms of now, it seems like you've got like a lot more going for you. So you're regularly going to Thailand. You build the connections there. You've got your strength and conditioning. You're training with the guys from Sport Test, aren't you now?
Yeah. So I got my manager. There's he's got Austrian guy who he's like another strength and conditioning. He sorts my nutrition and weight cut. So like every day he's texting me, oh, how have you done? How you trained? How you trained? Yeah. So alhamdulillah, got like a good team around me.
Yeah. And then I think we've got to get to the really boring topic, but everybody will probably just have to bear with it. But we need to know like how has coronavirus affected your training?
Oh,
I guess we know the answer,
yeah.
but just tell us more.
It's just do whatever. I love biking and running. But, like no gym, no sparring, no wrestling, nothing.
No contact.
Yeah, no contact.
Big problem.
It's just boring. Just do weights and running and stuff like that. But they've got they give me a plan to do.
Okay.
So it's a bit of sprinting, like a bit of exercises. So it's okay. It's not too bad.
Yeah, I suppose at most you kind of just keep it on your conditioning.
Yeah, it's just like at least maintaining where you are,
Yeah.
rather than trying to get better.
And then in terms of when it's all gonna be over, we don't even
Yeah,
know.
don't
I
know.
know there's some stuff at the moment. So at the time that we're doing this recording, there's some government directives. I think I've seen it for Northern Ireland where they're saying potentially if you're like a elite level athlete, then you can get some sparring
Yeah.
in. But then it's the same.
It's not gonna. It's
Yeah,
not
I
gonna
don't know,
work.
man. It's
Yeah.
just getting confusing.
Yeah.
But and then what about your sponsors and stuff like that? Who you got at the moment?
I always have like a lot of sponsors. They come on and off. Like if I have a fight, they'll sponsor me. But the two, alhamdulillah, that always help me out is OVA and OPC. So they like regular help me out always. They've been there.
RPC, who?
OVA is like a car company, Reliance Vehicle Assist.
Okay.
They're from Nelson, and OPC is Burnley Housing. A Reman's property consultant. Yeah. So alhamdulillah, they always help me out regular all the time.
Oh, that's good.
But you always have like sponsor like supplements and clothing.
Yeah. Because like in the build up to a fight, you can obviously it's an advertising opportunity. For them, isn't it?
So before a fight, they'll come and say, "Oh."
So if anybody wanted to sponsor you, then they just need to contact HD.
Yeah, heavy duty fight management. It's like on my Instagram and all that.
Okay. Right. So I think we've got a good picture from you overall, but I think there's some aspects I want to cover. So this is like the kind of boring bits, but it needs to be covered because I'll be honest with you, nowadays every Tom, Dick and Harry is doing a bit of hard work and now they're an MMA fighter. And I honestly don't think a lot of people who are going to be watching this realise how much effort goes into just one of the disciplines.
Yeah.
So like we used to have a Bulgarian coach and he used to say to us that if you want to get this technique right, you've got to do it 7,000 times.
Yeah.
And that was just for a single to double leg takedown.
Yeah.
He's saying 7,000. He goes, that's my number. You need to do it and you need to perfect
Yeah.
it. And that's how you do. And that's just one discipline.
Yeah.
So the point, I guess what I'm saying, and it's more of a case of whether you agree or not, but it's one thing at UK MMA level to come in and maybe do a few amateur fights and maybe just get a pro card, but to actually get to the higher levels, you need a lot, like thousands of repetitions day in day out.
Yeah. Like, that's another thing. A lot of people just think like sometimes I teach as well, and like I'll teach them, for example, an armbar, and I say like, look, go over it. Say no, like we've done it once or twice, we know it. But like even me, the basics, like every day you have to do it, like arm bars, shrimping, all just the basics. You have to do it.
How many
continuous repetition?
Continuous.
Now, how many thousands of times will you have done an armbar in your life?
Yeah.
Or just to even
and
do
still
it?
to get it is it's not easy to get armbar on someone.
Yeah.
It's just again practice.
I'm sure your Uncle Shani went over the armbar with you so many
Yeah,
times.
he used to love the armbar, break his arm.
His Uncle Shani used to love the armbar.
Yeah.
I think he made sure do it
Was that
thousands of times.
I think you get we couldn't do no chokes. Like when we were like competing like under 10 years old.
Right.
So it used to be like you get position and hold it for 25 seconds, but then they start doing like you're only allowed arm bars. So you used to like
so you will be drilling that.
Yeah, practice that.
Again, so it's just reaffirming that point, isn't it? That if you're interested in getting into MMA, by all means give it a go, but you've got to have a very realistic expectation of what you can achieve, especially if you're like maybe a late entry.
Yeah.
Because like you've been doing it since you've been from a really young age, and in order for you to, bearing in mind how many thousands of punches or tens of thousands of punches and kicks you've thrown in your life, you're still having to go out to Thailand, and you're still having to do full camps.
Yeah. You have to. You have to always evolve, especially in MMA.
Yeah.
Because it's always evolving.
So in terms of the evolution of the sport, who are the guys that you've got your eye on now, as in terms of like the athletes you look at and think, these are the top dogs of their divisions?
I think the one that comes to mind is Habib.
Yeah.
Especially how he's
just mauls his opponents.
It just makes it look easier. But the people who he's mauling are world class athletes, and that's what's more impressive.
Especially the pressure he would have been under.
Yeah.
Obviously, when he's gone and fighting likes of Conor McGregor, that was a big fight.
Yeah.
He went out there, dismantled Conor McGregor.
Yeah. Even there's that Peter Yan. Fighting Aldo, that guy.
Yeah,
because I've trained with him in Thailand. He's very good.
Is a nice dude as well, yeah?
Yeah, nice guy. He just can't speak English, but hello. But the Russians are all a bit ruthless.
What's it like when you're sparring? So say, for example, for the viewers, like when you're sparring someone of a UFC kind of a level, do you up your game yourself when you start sparring them, or what does it feel like when you start sparring?
Do you know, to tell you the truth, you always think, oh, like this
Yeah.
guy UFC, but it's like sparring someone else. Obviously, they're high, very good. But it's not, you can't think that, oh, this guy's in UFC or else you're going to be getting smacked
You're
all
going to
over
be
the
giving him
place,
too much respect.
Give him too much respect, yeah. But a lot of them, like, be having fights, so you can't go too serious. Do you know, like, if they're fighting in 1 or 2 weeks.
Along with Peter Yan, you've also sparred Johnny Walker.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So that story, no one wanted to spar him. So Abhi and my brother were there in Thailand, so I'm sparring, everyone's sparring. So he went with a few of these Russians and like he's battering them. And they went to me afterwards. He sat next to my brother. My brother was tall, and he went, "Oh, do you want to do a round?" So my brother went, "No, I don't do it now, but I'll call my other brother." So the round finished, and they called me. I thought, what they called me? They went, "Oh, go in the cage. You can spar Johnny Walker." I thought, oh, flippy like.
Yeah, because he's like, this guy's not massive.
Yeah,
reach
but
as
he was
well,
just lifting his knee up. He's not hitting, man. He's like coming here. Do you know, like he's massive.
He's
Especially
like
when he's
6'4",
falling.
innit?
Yeah, he was big,
Very tall.
very tall. He was just lifting his knee
Was
up.
he taller
and
than
he's like-
Junaid?
Yeah, taller than Junaid. He's lifting his knee up and he's like touching my chin. And I think, can you imagine he throws one of them full black?
He's one of them like really unorthodox strikers as well, isn't he? So like he'll have his hands down and just be like really punch out of nowhere.
Yeah.
But then fighters like that, they can catch up with them as well because then they're the ones that can get caught.
Yeah. Obviously, like, when you're spotting me, I'm featherweight. He's light heavyweight. He's gonna always be fighting someone who's his size.
So then in your most recent fight, so this is about the one in Saudi, you did a lot more wrestling that one. Was that like because you looked at the guy, done the homework on the guy, and thought, you know what, we need to attack him that way, or was it a case of I don't fancy a bit of wrestling?
Yeah, it just happened. Like I never go in and think, oh, I'm gonna wrestle. I'll have like a game plan. For example, the guy's good at wrestling, or he's a good striker. But with this guy, it just happened naturally.
Yeah.
I was very impressed with that fight. The wrestling. Like before that, I'd not seen that kind of offensive wrestling from him. You'd seen obviously the defensive wrestling, people struggle to take him down. But I hadn't seen it all the way in synchronization, away from the striking to the takedown to everything. Yeah, maybe before that, if you think one thing I've not really seen from him was that that explosive wrestling which he displayed in that fight, which shows he's got all aspects of his game.
Your defensive wrestling's evolved a lot. Like when you were in at the IMMAF, when you were fighting Northern Ireland, was it Ireland and Northern Ireland guy? He did get a takedown or two.
Yeah, so do you know in the IMMAF, I broke both my knuckles in the first fight.
Wow.
So I had to, from the second fight, I had to just wrestle. I still punch him, but I did wrap my hands.
So basically,
properly.
he's gone on to win the gold medal, having adapted, having injured both his hands, and alhamdulillah, he's been able to change his fighting style because of how versatile he is, and then he's gone on to
that's
win
really
it.
good because I remember because I was rewatching the fight. I'm thinking like, the overhook was a bit loose as well, but it makes sense. It makes sense. Obviously, if your hands are broken, you're not going to be like, grab it, it's going to hurt you more.
And in the arm of them guys were very, very high level guys. Especially one of the guys people might not know about, the guy from Tajikistan. I can't remember his name now.
Muhammad Naimov.
And as a pro, he's got a very, very good record now as well. And he went on, he beat him. He beat some other well-known UK names like Conor Hitchens and a few others.
Right. So, what's next? So let's just take coronavirus out of the equation because it's come up. I've had to talk about coronavirus over the last 3 podcasts. So let's assume that tomorrow Chacha Boris is going to say, yeah, it's over, it's done and dusted. And in an ideal scenario, obviously you don't know who you're going to fight. With all being well, what do you plan? Can you talk about anything that's in the works?
Yeah, to be honest, it's just my manager ring me and say, I'll tell him, look, like July, for example, and he'll just say, look, I got your opponent. I don't really like thinking ahead. Okay. So whatever comes, alhamdulillah,
But the main thing is you're sharp.
Yeah, just always stay ready. So if they ring 4-6 weeks, I can get fight ready. And
then in terms of your physical preparation, how long are you going to be able to stay at featherweight?
I don't come too much weight. Everyone asks me the same question, but inshallah, hopefully all my career.
Yeah. Oh no, it's fine. Because the only reason I'm thinking, because I was trying to work us about this a while back as well, that like obviously, like I was younger, and then say where would I go? Whether I go to the gym or whatever. Like you kind of naturally have, as you kind of age a little bit, you kind of put on some denser muscle. Like there's certain muscle you just can't get rid of. You just kind of it becomes part of your frame. So I'm just thinking like, were you at that point where it's like you're going to really start struggling to cut, or so you're okay for now?
Yeah. So like when I was amateur, I didn't used to cut like hardly anything. So obviously getting older, I had to cut a bit more. So I still cut weight. It's not easy, but it's not like super hard for me that I need to go up a bit. Like the only time I fought lightweight was the UKFC and Celtic Gladiator. That was lightweight because the featherweight, I couldn't get matched up, so they just went, look, lightweight this fight.
So that was like, go have some roti and come out.
Yeah, I still had to cut weight for lightweight, but it was.
It's not the same.
It went hard at all.
Right. So, do you find that you can't have some desi food when you're trying to watch it?
Oh, all the time.
Once you're tough, man.
Get used to it.
So like, without obviously you giving away what your kind of training plan is too much, because there's some things that obviously just stay within camp and whatnot. But typically, what do you eat typically?
It just tell you the truth. Like people say, a lot of protein, carbs. Obviously, you're gonna have to watch the carbs when you get close to the fat. Just all good, healthy food. Nothing like
Don't say burgers.
No burgers. The burgers are after the fight.
Right. Yeah, no, I just don't think like if I was in a position where I'd have to stop eating roti. I think the one time that I had to do a proper cut, like I'm fat now, 80, but remember that time when I went down to bloody 69 and a bit kilos, and I had to stop. I had to stop eating roti, and I was still down some stupid calories. So I don't know, man. I don't know how you do it.
Yeah, you get used to it. Don't say you've been doing it a long time. It's hard, but like, me and Abby have done 3 Eids actually abroad. In
that
Thailand.
just shows the kind of sacrifice that he's making.
Like we always be walking and think, you can smell samosa.
So actually, because you 3 Eids in Thailand.
We done 2 in Thailand. 1 was in Dubai. And we did obviously 1 Eid in Vegas. Lay Eid after Ramadan finished. I think that was on the final day.
Yeah, it was at the final day. Yeah, again, just shows the sacrifice that's having to be made. Yes, if Eid comes up, he's still he's still training. If there is a fight there,
it takes a lot of commitment. But yeah, I think in terms of the overall, so kind of putting all this conversation together and kind of wrapping it up, I think the one thing I will say is you're kind of you're quite a humble guy. You don't talk about yourself, and you're not like kind of putting yourself out there like other people might do. So you then, I don't know if you agree with me or not, but you tend to find out sometimes people get a bit carried away with the social media sometimes, and they'll be, like I said before, they might hit the pads once or twice and then do the next big thing in Nelson. But I think, inshallah, I think if we just keep an eye on you, and we'll see what the future will bring for you in terms of the potential.
No, that's one of the best things about him. That I'll say, how humble he is. There's a lot of people out there, like he said, if they were in his position and they'd achieve the success that he's achieved, it'd be all over the social media in ways, boasting and being arrogant. But he's nothing like that. Yeah. I can give you an example. When we were in Dubai, he won the fight. What normal people do after they won a fight, they want to go out party, etc. No, went home, read his namaz, got chicken with the lads, and he just sat down and we ate, literally. I remember. And then he went to sleep after that.
KFC.
Yeah, he had KFC, that KFC bucket. That was literally it. This guy, all he does is he trains, reads namaz, and he doesn't even socializing with his cousins, etc. And that's really it. And
that's like number 1 is your religion.
Yeah.
Before
it's keeping you grounded,
or MMA, yeah. Because we don't know when we're gonna die and what. So that's obviously number 1 before anything.
I think that's probably what's keeping you grounded, isn't it?
Yeah. And when you travel like Thailand, there's always somebody that's bigger and better than you.
Yeah.
Like when you travel like Thailand, everyone comes from all around the world. So there's always somebody that's.
There's always someone that can keep you in check.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's good, man.
And one of the big important factor that I think for him as well is his dad. How much of an influence his dad has been on him. Yeah, his dad. I think his dad is, obviously he's gonna have all coaches coming over the years, etc., etc. But the most credit goes to his dad, who was with him, who set him up, I think, at the start. And then, with that, he's got a really good, strong family unit with his uncle Shani. He was also his uncle Gully as well. And then he's got his cousins around him, his brother Junaid, his cousin Zishan, Moeen, Mohsin, and Abdul Rahman's with him as well, supporting him. And I think he's really blessed to be in that position. And himself, he's a very, very humble guy.
I think we've got to give a shout out to the supporters that will turn up as well.
Yeah, of course.
Do you remember Celtic? I keep getting Gladiator Warrior, whatever the hell it was called. That competition, because yours was it was the second to last fight, wasn't it?
Third, I think.
And then basically, as soon as you had your fight, all the supporters chipped,
Yeah.
and you could just see the atmosphere just drop.
Yeah. Alhamdulillah, I got everyone, especially everyone in Nelson. Like, I'm very grateful. They support me a lot.
Yeah, because those promoters must be loving it. Because in terms of like from a promoter's perspective, you'd be a good catch just because of the tickets that you can sell and the atmosphere.
The promoters love it.
Yeah. So I guess this is pretty much we're kind of reaching the end of it because we're a bit short on time today. I do apologize. I spent like 20 minutes just figuring out how to put these wires in these microphones and learning how to use my mixer. So sorry about that, boys. But have you got anything you guys want to cover?
No, I'm good. I just want to thank everyone for supporting me, and that's it really, alhamdulillah.
Yeah, and as before, what's your Insta handle?
Insta is Shoaib Yousaf.
And then that links to the Facebook.
Yeah,
so Facebook is the same. So you can find him on there. And yeah, just like the page, keep in touch there. And if anybody's interested in sponsoring Shoaib, then get in touch with the HD Heavy Duty Fight Management.
Yeah,
and everyone he really appreciates the local support and all the support that he's getting. He does really appreciate each and every single fan, and if they could just inshallah continue to just keep the support up, and inshallah make it all the way to the top.
Yeah. And on that note, let's call it a wrap, guys. Thank you very much. I've just got one last thing I want to say. I've changed the format of the podcast slightly, so it's now called BashTalk. I'm going to sort out the social media side of things in the next couple of days. I'll put this video out, but I might chop it up into clips. I don't know. I'm just winging it. I'm figuring out the best format that works for people, that people want to watch and listen. And I think I probably need to improve the lighting because I don't look great. I don't normally look great anyway. But just, thanks for your patience. Just bear with us in the next couple of weeks. I've got a few people coming on, but we just got to experiment. So you might find that I might have a completely different type of guest on. But just keep tuned in. And if you don't mind, please share the video. Get people to subscribe as well. It'd be really appreciated as I'm just trying to grow my channel. And I just want to say thank you to Wakas and Shoaib for coming on today. It's greatly appreciated. It's going to help me as well. It helps you. So thank you very much, and let's call it a wrap.